In the headlines, terrorists abduct 2 women, 3 children, invade Katsina community. APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu visits Akure, meets Pa Fasoranti, Afenifere leaders over action plan. Nigeria defeat Germany to win bronze in FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. And 11 die in stampede at Fali Ipupa concert in Democratic Republic of the Congo. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. Terrorists have invaded the Dajamare community in Katsina State, abducting 2 women and their 3 children. Although police authorities are yet to confirm the incident, eyewitnesses told newsmen that the terrorists stormed the community on Saturday night. The gunmen were said to have spent about 30 minutes shooting with sophisticated weapons before the security operatives eventually repelled them. This incident was coming barely 2 days after police rescued 21 kidnapped victims at the Dutse Maloko government area of the state. The police public relations officer in the state, Gambo Isa, in a statement, said that many terrorists were killed and some escaped the scene with gunshot wounds. He said that tactical teams are still combing the area with the hope of recovering dead bodies and or arresting the injured terrorist. He said investigation is still ongoing. Fatima Abubakar has said she hated marriages and disliked men coming near her, which was why she killed her husband by putting poison in his food. It was her second marriage. The Borno State Commissioner of Police, Abdul Umar, who said this to the news agency of Nigeria in Maiduguri, explained that the suspect was arrested on October 19th by men of the command at Ungwandoki. Umar said that the victim, who was the chief imam of the area, returned from the mosque when the suspect, who was the second wife, allegedly mixed poison in his food. He explained that as soon as Goni started eating, his condition deteriorated. According to him, the victim was immediately rushed to the state specialist hospital where he was given emergency medical attention, but unfortunately, he later died when they returned home. The Commissioner of Police immediately deployed men of the Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department to arrest the suspect after the incident was reported by the family of the victim at the GRA police station. He noted that on the arrival of the police, they witnessed large numbers of aggrieved youth in the neighborhood who stormed the home of the victim with the intention to lynch the suspect, but the police were able to bring the situation under control. He added that the suspect, in her statement, confessed to the alleged crime, noting that she brought the poison from Monday Market when she already made up her mind to kill him. He said that the case had been registered as culpable homicide before the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and she would be charged to court. The suspect, Fatima, who was paraded at the command, told the news agency of Nigeria that she killed her husband because she was tired of the marriage. Now, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali, has warned journalists not to engage in reporting fake news capable of igniting crisis in the country. The IGP made the call during the commissioning of a new building of police station in Ibusa in Oshimili North local government area of Delta State. IG Usman said kidnapping and banditry are modern-day crimes, and all security agencies need to work together to be able to fight and make Nigeria a peaceful place.
I think these are modern and senseless crimes that are around us. So we need synergy, and we are doing it. Particularly because of that, we are having a lot of successes. Forget about all this international conspiracy and efforts to bring down the efforts of government. Unnecessary security alerts that does not have any meaning. And therefore, I also want to appeal to our media that you should not be used as tools of transmitting false news fake news, inciting news that are fake, that are meant to bring us down.
Of death benefits to families of deceased police officers who have died in the line of service. Initiative in the silent achiever IGP in his welfare drive for police personnel and their families. I wish to also use this medium of opportunity to make a request to the IGP for the provision of more serviceable patrol vehicles, anti-route equipment, arms and ammunition, as the command is in dire need of these tools. This request has become so necessary and, of course, very imperative considering the electioneering season and the continued need for security of the state.
Some traders at the popular Alaba International Market in Lagos said they are still gripped by fear as the market was reopened for business on Tuesday after 5 days closure due to crisis that erupted in the market last week. The chairman of Alaba International Amalgamated Traders Association Council of Sectoral Heads, Mboni Geoffrey, told Trust TV that the leaders of the park management are yet to sign the agreement reached, but they have concluded to reopen the market due to the assurance from the security agencies. Trust TV's Abbas Dalibi now reports.
Business activities has been restored in the market, which was open on Tuesday morning.
As you can see, this is part of Alaba International Market. The market has been open after 5 days, which was unlocked due to the crisis that erupted. However, the business is booming little by little, while the marketers are still complaining.
Some people are still afraid, thinking that there will still be riot again, like some of my customers call. The market is a little bit down, but the situation I'm seeing now is okay.
The public relation officer of the Amalgamated Union in the market, Mohammed Buba, highlights some of the agreement reached by both parties.
You can see there is no more algorithms within the market, and everybody can buy his goods and go out without extorting money from him. As of today, there is nothing like that. Everybody is doing his business. My hope is let the government make sure they enforce this law and let it be as it is, as we are talking about.
The chairman of Alaba International Amalgamated Traders Association Council of Sectional Heads, Mboni Geoffrey, disclosed that the leaders of the park management had yet to sign the agreement reached.
We are ready to pay the statutory fee approved by the local government, by the state, by the federal government. And the collection point should be outside the market, Alaba International Market environment, because this is an international market. And the amount to be paid should be known and agreed by both parties, and also received. Though they promise us they will ordain the mass, they are going to meet up with our demands. Thereafter, there was a communique between we and the park management representatives and the security agencies, which the SA and local government chairman instructed the legal department of Ojo local government to put it in writing, as we are all agreed, in order to make sure peace come back to Alaba International Market.
The hope of the traders and their customers is for the peace to be restored in the market for businesses to thrive.
Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu on Sunday stormed Akure, the Ondo State capital, to present his action plan on how to reposition the country to greatness to the leadership of Afenifere, the Yoruba cultural and political organization. Tinubu, who arrived at Akure, moved from the airport to the country home of the leader of the group, Pa Ruben Fasoranti, where the leaders of Afenifere were already waiting to receive him. As of the time of this report, the meeting between him and Afenifere is still ongoing. Details as the story unfolds. presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, AAC, Omoyele Sowore, on Saturday condemned the federal government's moves to redesign the Naira, stressing that the development would further worsen the nation's economy. Speaking in Kano when he unveiled his presidential campaign ahead of the 2023 general elections, Sowore lamented that President Muhammadu Buhari was embarking on a Naira redesign when Nigerians were battling with the negative impact of inflation. Sowore said the economy under this administration is based on trial and error, noting that there is no place where development thrives with security threats and government tries to redesign the Naira. The social activist told journalists that the choice of Kano to unveil the AAC presidential campaign was born out of the city's political consciousness. He pledged to redefine the education system and rejuvenate the country's economy. Sowore, who questioned the promise of the ruling All Progressive Congress to fight corruption and instill justice, declared that the anti-corruption will top his administration's agenda if voted to power in 2023. Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has sent an open letter to presidential candidates ahead of the February 2023 presidential election, urging them to demonstrate leadership to publish the sources of their campaign funding. SERAP said it is concerned about the vulnerability of political parties to corruption-seeking donations. In the open letter signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolaole Oluwadari, the organization said transparency in campaign funding would improve public trust in Nigeria's politicians and political parties and show commitment to prevent and combat corruption if elected. According to SERAP, if Nigerians know where the money is coming from, they can scrutinize the details and hold the candidates to account. Now, rented crowd at political rallies is a common phenomenon during electioneering in Nigeria. People are often induced with gifts and all kinds to monetary promise to form a large crowd at political campaign venues. In this report, Bella Musa speaks to analysts who opined that political crowd renting only promotes thuggery and hinders democratic growth. His report.
Rented crowd is when one hired people to form large crowd at the political rally, protest, or other public events. Individuals are often attracted to attend political rally by inducing them with money or other gift to create a large crowd for particular candidate or political party. Many, however, believe rented crowd is a deceit and setback to the growth of democracy.
So usually such crowds, to me, to my own understandings, is deceit. They rented the crowd to deceive the people. Yes. You find out, especially if people are disenchanted. They would not like to come to that political event. So what will they do? Is to sponsor people to come. And at the end of the day, you see them giving people 1,000 naira, 500 naira.
Some believe that unless leadership recruitment process is addressed, Nigerians will continue to witness renting of crowd, vote buying, and other irregularities in the electoral process.
So we should have a leader that is bold enough to stand up. That's why I said earlier on, to unite the people, we have to address the leadership question in Nigeria. Unless we address it now, it will boomerang in the near future. Because the army of unemployed youths I'm seeing around is disturbing. We have almost a near collapse system. If you look at our education, if you look at about health.
In Electoral Act 2022 as amended, it comes with a lot of provisions. And those provisions that the Electoral Act come with provide for certain level of punishment for people who, most especially thuggery, vote buying, renting crowd to be part of political activities. I think the Electoral Act has taken care of that. What needed to be done is for the government to follow it up to implement those Electoral Act. I think the police, or rather the security agencies, should be able to work assiduously in ensuring that they carry out the responsibility as assigned to them by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
As campaigns gather momentum, some unemployed may be bracing up for opportunity to be paid at political rallies, though voters are admonished not to allow money to influence their choice of political leaders in 2023. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up. Tradition beautifies culture of Emir's title holders. Details of this story after the break. Stay with us.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Our top stories. Terrorists abduct 2 women, 3 children, invade Katsina community. APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu visits Akure, meets Pa Fasorati, Afenifere leaders over action plan. Moving on, women have been urged to be proactive in day-to-day activities to enable them compete with male peers. A final year student who worked at a bookstore to make ends meet while ASU strike lasted made the call. Kabir Lawal completes the story.
Faiza Mohammed, a student at Faculty of Law of University of Ilori, told Trust TV News that she utilized the strike action by ASU to further her knowledge of reading and writing.
The last 8 months, my school has been on strike. And in that time, I knew that I couldn't be idle. I couldn't just be at home waiting. And then while I usually would try to occupy myself by writing and reading a lot and volunteering online, a lot of those things are things that are seasonal, that are not very stable. And then this time, compared to the last strike, I needed something that was more concrete.
The final year student further called on female folks not to relent in their efforts to develop their skills to make them more self-reliant. She added that working in a bookshop was fun and very interesting as she met with people from all walks of lives with like minds.
And my boss, who is super nice. I have met people who write, people who read, people who do both. And I feel like that has been a privilege. And that has been the best way I could have spent these last few months. So, I know how it feels to be, for example, in 100 level and know that, okay, I have 5 years ahead of me and they're going to keep going on strike every 2 years, you know? So if I was in their position, I think it would be a reasonable conclusion to say, okay, if I have the opportunity to move abroad, I will. It's very disappointing to be behind, months, a year behind, of my mates who are abroad and who are in private universities, and knowing that due to these disadvantages that are out of my control, I'm not able to compete the way I ordinarily would if I had the same opportunities as those people. So I think that has been a major disadvantage, but then disadvantages are everywhere, and then you just have to make the most of it. And that's what I think I did here.
Faisal Mohammed then called on the students to take their academics serious, which should not only go a long way to curb youth restiveness, but also make them be good ambassadors at all times. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Well, there you go. Now, the importance of formal education has been, especially for the girl child, emphasized. In Makurdi, some teenage girls begged the federal government to do more to educate girls. The report.
The girls aged between 13 and 16 said formal education can help the society stand better. They spoke on some of the benefits, encouraging the government to improve the sector.
Education helps in the rapid development of a society and a nation as whole. In that same vein, helps give good grooming habits to citizens who tend to be nation builders of tomorrow. More so, education saved lives in the community through doctors, as they are also educated to treat.
Enables children think effectively on what to do, when to do, and how to do as leaders of tomorrow. Just as the saying goes, education is the key to success. Furthermore, education provides individuals with the necessary knowledge to achieve his or her desire in life.
Where there is high illiteracy, there will be low development, because there will be not know how to produce or even manage their resources. But with literacy, there will be development, because learned people will know how to produce and manage the resources to benefit the people.
The teenagers are, however, worried about the girl child education. They complain that poverty, culture, and greed, as well as ignorance, are standing in the way of the girl child education.
Government should also create a platform that will enlighten parents on the benefits of a girl child education. In addition, women should be given equal treatment in the government sectors concerning politics and leadership.
Government should create public awareness, especially in rural areas where most people do not understand the importance of girl child education. Scholarships should be given to children who parents could not afford to pay their school fees.
I think that the government should provide free education, most especially in the rural areas, where most parents do not see the need of training girl child and regard them as people who will waste their money and end up in another man's house. And
awareness creation for the girl child education has come to the fore in recent times. But these teenage girls are convinced that most of the rural dwellers have refused to adapt. To some, they say poverty is a cause and urge the federal government to do more for the girls in Nigeria. This is a call of organizations like the United Nations in the vanguard against gender discrimination.
Drumming is a long-time tradition in northern Nigeria. Those skilled in the art of drumming are found around emirs' palaces as well as residences of traditional title holders. In this report, our reporter Abubakar Abdullahi interacted with the chief of drummer known in local parlance as Sarki Makada Lafia, and he gave an insight into the tradition. This report is presented from our studio.
The traditional drummer and praise singers are responsible for entertainment that usually comes with no particular activity. A typical play palace or residence of a traditional holder is considered incomplete without such native entertainment. The chief drummer of Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital known as Sarki Makanda, in the Hausa language, explained to Trust TV how the tradition came into existence.
Abu ne wanda aka gada. Kasan wani za ga shiga ne, wani kuma zai shiga ne rana tsaka.
For some, it is something hereditary, while others join us to learn. My grandfather was the Sarki Makada Alhaji Abdullahi Angolu Oyapa. If not because of the respect you have for me, you will not find me where I am. No matter how rich you are, if you don't have a traditional title, you can't see me, because it is an honor for you to see Sarki Makada in your house. But you can also be honored if you have a relationship with the traditional institution.
The Sarki Makanda Lafia, who said all his family members were raised with proceeds from traditional drumming. Also added that up to date, the trade is still taking care of them, and explained that even members of the family who are engaging in businesses other than the drumming and praising are hoping to come and embrace the trade of their forefathers.
I in the Kabuka Samini, I've been 24 hours better by giver.
In this place, you came to see me. We do not lack food, education, clothes, and medical care. This trade alone cannot sustain our lifestyles, so we are engaged in one place or the other. I am a staff with the local authority, and my younger brothers are working in different organizations. Even our elder brother, who is an orthopedic doctor at the Federal Medical Center, Kerfi, is about to retire to come and join the trade of our forefathers.
He said members of the Serikim Makanda family can engage in the trade without training, but anybody outside the family that is interested must learn from them, adding that they don't engage in any extraordinary activity that is against their belief just to get extra power from God. He further said the trade comes with several challenges, with the major ones among them being ill health among drummers and praise singers, wear and tear of drums, as well as scarcity of drum repair. Trust TV observed that Serikim Makanda and his followers attend events such as namings, weddings, and traditional ceremonies organized by emirs, traditional rulers, family members.
A very interesting report there. Now, on the foreign scene, a stampede left 7 spectators and 1 police officer dead during a packed concert by African music star Fally Ipupa at the biggest stadium in Democratic Republic of Congo's capital. The police chief told official press agency ACP on Sunday. The Mater Stadium has an 80,000 capacity, and reports said it was absolutely full for the local favorite, with one witness saying even the corridors of the stadium were overflowing. The agency, which had reporters in the stadium covering the concert, said police had cordoned off 3 areas to secure the pitch, the VIP stand, and the stage. Singer-songwriter Fally Ipupa had arrived several hours after the show had been scheduled to start, the agency noted. The Kinshasa-born 44-year-old is one of Africa's leading musicians whose albums sell worldwide. Sudan police fired tear gas as thousands protest military rule. Security forces fired tear gas Sunday as thousands of demonstrators took to the streets of the Sudanese capital, demanding a return to civilian rule, AFP reported. Raising Sudanese flags and posters of activists killed during pro-democracy protests. Protesters tried to march on the presidential palace in central Khartoum as security forces used tear gas to disperse them. Others chanted against military rule and erected barricades in North Khartoum and Omdurman, an AFP correspondent said. Tear gas was also fired in the capital's twin city of Omdurman and in North Khartoum, where protesters tried to cross the bridge leading to the center of the capital. In the eastern city of Kassala, some 800 young women and women came out to demand civilian rule, eyewitness Hussein Mohammed Shahid told AFP. And in sports, Nigeria's Flamingos have defeated Germany to clinch a consolatory bronze medal in the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in India. The match ended in a 3-3 draw at a regulation time, which resulted into a penalty shootout. The penalty then ended 3-2 in Nigeria's favor. Flamingos are the second African side to achieve this feat. In the first half, Nigeria's forward Okwemi Ajakaye broke her goal drought with her brilliant opener for the Flamingos. And that's it on news updates. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bana. Thanks for your time and company.